Hi there, welcome to FMCG by Alex. My name is Alex. Last week we looked at retail from the buyer seat, so this week we are going to turn it around and basically look at the key account management side of it. So, key account management basically is something that has been invented for the purpose of going beyond the buy and sell relationship. So, if you have basically you buy, I sell. This can be, a lot of good stuff coming out. But if you're looking at planning it together, so how can we sell more? What do you need? It can be basically a matter of planning stock. In essence, just a very simple example. So normally you always buy two or three. If at some point you suddenly start buying 10 and then complain that I don't have stock for 10, that I constantly have to produce more, that is one of the reasons why key account management is called into existence. So basically, it's more about forecasting, planning, and joint business planning, I would say. So how can we sell more? How can we sell more effectively? And how can we avoid problems? That is, I think, the core of this customer satisfaction. So the holy grail of key account management today would be going beyond just being a salesperson. So you would, in essence, integrate with the client, so with the client's organization, and become a part of their buying team by streamlining the logistics and the supply chain. So, in essence, looking also at what they need. Are there any new things they need? You are able to actually get the data from them to see trends, to pass on management information to your own organization. In essence, this is business manager inside someone else's business, to summarize it. Now, for offline, you have offline and online key account managers, basically. Offline, of course, is the traditional part of brick and mortar stores, where you manage visibility, planograms, promotions, in-store execution. So this is part of the selling out part. The selling in part is something that I think key account managers still have this buy and sell thing, but then more on a planning, from a planning perspective, where you say, look, in a year, how much are you going to do? How we're going to spread out through the year? And all these selling out activities, of course, are matched with selling in activities, because if you plan to increase your sales selling out, you need to also make sure that the stock is there on the shelf, and that your organization is also geared towards supplying this stock in time. I've worked in many organizations over the years. I've worked in publicly listed companies. I've worked in private companies. The size of the organization didn't always guarantee that the key account managers had all the resources available to them to do their job properly, or the training and the quality of the key account managers wasn't always up to par. I've worked with some brilliant ones, and I've worked with some people where I thought, like, okay, it's probably very analog still, with regards to not using all the technology at your fingertips. People who maybe were a bit older already. That's something that I would say, there are several aspects to key account management. So where you look at relationship management, so someone can be a very good relationship manager, but then really not be good at the other aspects of planning and really looking at opportunities and all those things. So the relationship part is very important, maybe the most important part of it. But if you can't do the other part, you need to have someone to augment you, to actually complement you, in essence, to take this part out of your hands. So this is why key account management becomes more data driven. I've been around for quite a long time, so in the past we didn't really have the systems. Also, we did most of it manually. Still, nowadays you can do a lot of things with technology, as a tool to help you. So offline definitely is this relationship part, very, very much, because the people you're dealing with usually are also people who have been a long time in the offline business. So they are more stuck in the old way of doing business. Not all, but I would say, the likeliness of the likelihood that this is the case is very much there. Looking at all the people you're dealing with, maybe a little bit more about the procedures that they need to follow. And having said that, there are also several retailers that are really struggling, offline retailers that are really struggling with category management. And yeah, let's say competing with the online businesses that are vying for their market share, so to speak. Now, that's both a potential blocker, but also an opportunity for you to really get into it and say and help them to make that transition, yeah, to compete effectively and work in this way. So, like I said, inevitable to learn. Like I said, I am, you know, I'm saying older people, but older people, the older you get, the more difficult usually it is to accept more new ideas because your experience is, blocking you from that. Now, for online, you basically would work the same way, but on the relationship part, you basically people buy from people. Companies don't buy anything. So, if you're an online key account manager, you deal with a buyer for an online reseller or online distributor in essence. So, you drive traffic, you drive conversion. It's even more data driven than the offline part, maybe bundling, review management, etc. So in the end, it's more comprehensive on the data part of things than on the relationship part, but both are still very important. We look at online sales normally are more of a yeah, let's say a way of managing the resellers. Okay, like you are also competing between online and offline in some cases. I've been seeing this yeah, up close where offline they were selling to people that were also selling online. Now, that is actually becomes a bit of a blur where what is an offline key account and what is an online key account, because most successful retailers are actually doing both. And there are also people who are primarily online resellers and maybe have one or two storefronts, which is their offline presence, which eventually like 90% of their sales comes from online. So you need to be on top of this and get the online team to really, and online key account managers to really take charge of this account, working with the various tools that you put at their disposal, marketing, working with influencers. Having said that, influencers could also work with offline come, of course, where you basically have influencers maybe going to stores and work their magic on that to drive traffic to the stores, because that's I think the key of both of these functions is that for an offline and an online key account manager, the core is actually they want to drive traffic to both an offline store and an online store. So in the end, you need to give that value to your clients, online or offline, in order to basically be a good partner for them. Now, you're the link between the brand strategy and the real world execution. So, in essence, this is also something that if there's not enough oversight or directives that are very clear from the top management, and basically the marketing department is not involved in the crossover, basically you have sometimes that salespeople have different priorities from marketing people. Salespeople are rewarded, and the KPIs are actually on sales, so how much you sell, which can translate into a more short-term, yeah, mindset. So, a short-term mindset means that they are looking at things that immediately bring sales rather than marketing, where marketing people are more about building the brand and building the demand over the long term. So rather than burning everything in one amazing blaze of a campaign, you are looking at building your brand, not eroding your brand equity. So in the end, it's a matter of keeping both of these functions in balance. The idea is actually that you have someone who runs sales who also has a good understanding of marketing. Because if you don't, this is competing with marketing, and competing with marketing would be competing for resources, and all the programs that marketing is presenting is not going to convert into sales directly, perceptive at least. Perception is least, but and otherwise the sales programs are all I'm saying seen as brainless and short term by the marketing department. Now, truth is somewhere in the middle. It's not brainless or anything like that, and it's also not slow and esoteric, but you're talking about it has to be balanced. You need to really look at can we do both? You have a short-term strategy and a long-term strategy and a strategy for bridging that. So um, this is why splitting those two departments is also usually an idea that from old times. A lot of FMCG companies have split the marketing and sales functions, also to keep some sort of rivalry or animosity between them. So just to make sure that life isn't too comfortable for both. This is driving performance and all those things. This is stuff that I would say I mean, especially family-owned companies, they have this tendency to pit sales teams against each other if they have multiple sales divisions. But I mean, the point is that cooperation and what marketing needs from sales and sales needs from marketing on both sides is actually something that you need to have someone to sit in the strategic role and understand both sides and unify both of them. So everything with the idea of a brand strategy in mind. So, what do retailers actually expect from key account managers? Now, in essence, the buyers want to have clear growth plans. So, not just a discount, but really like how am I going to grow the category? Any new SKUs you're putting in, is this going to help me sell more of the category, or is it going to sacrifice other brands, or I'm going to actually just sell different things inside the category, but the total volume is not going up? Then, of course, you need to have operational reliability. So, meaning that what you promise you need to do. So that's actually the part of the supply, the stock levels, and the in-store support. So you should not have to go back and say, "Oh, sorry, my budget is cut," or "Oh, yeah, by the way, we can't supply, what we promised you." Then, of course, you need to be a partner for. Insight in the category. So you're looking at from the perspective of a buyer. The buyer only sees what he or she is dealing with in their own stores. Usually, they have some friends that they are sharing experiences with. So that could be by some other stores, but assume for a moment that that is on the tight lock and key, and that you are actually their link to other stores. Also go to their competitor. Maybe you are handling as a key account manager, handling 7, 8, 9 stores, basically different outlets, different organizations. And what's happening there is actually something that they're very interested in. So you need to see what are the trends, what are actually the new initiatives that these guys are bringing to the table, other brands, other ideas, of course, also to grow the entire category, the entire aisle, basically. You need to bring data, not opinions. So, everybody has opinions and gut feelings and all those things, but you need to really back it up with data because it depends a little bit on the people you meet. Of course, some people are more story driven, but you have to imagine that most of these data guys, most of these category managers and buyers, they work with data, or at least have someone who makes a decision who is working with data mostly. So these are people with a lot of they need to have a lot of proof to back up your decisions that you are for your proposals, basically. So what you need to offer is, of course, joint business planning. So you need to sit down and go over it and plan for the future. So what are we going to do? How it's going to impact? This is actually really a partnership. Then you have, of course, shopper insights, so promotion, elasticity, seasonality, etc. So these are things that you think and can back up with data on how to basically improve the entire retailer's experience for shoppers, basically. And of course, you have some creativity that is on the commercial side that you need to design your promotion. So we always say in trade marketing, if you don't know what to do anymore, you're completely out of ideas to do a discount. There's a lot of other stuff you can do, which is bundles, loyalty tie-ins, e-commerce, flash deals, etc. So all these things need to serve a purpose, meaning like you have strategic promos which are meant to grow slightly gradually the sales, and you have, of course, tactical promos, which is actually to preempt competitor activity or get rid of stock that is basically close to expiry date, or for some other reason you need to clear it. So that's really the equation here. So if you do this, then retail buyers are quite happy with you as a partner. So, what sets apart a great key account manager from the mere mortals? Of course, you need to plan annually, but here I put they plan quarterly and act weekly. Annual plans are there, that's the business plan. Then you actually have a quarterly plan on how to achieve your milestone. And the idea is actually if you do that 4 times, you actually achieve your annual plan. But you need to also look at, and every single company I've worked with has a beautiful plan at the start of the year, and then no later than 6 months down the line, they are actually going to go and sit down and look at, we need to cut budgets, we need to adjust our sales projections a little bit downwards or upwards. All these things are actually part of the game. So quarterly is actually long enough. So where you actually lock in also promotions for the quarter. Usually you lock it in for the year, but quarterly you are actually doing the tactical adjustments, and you act weekly, meaning you really need to be on top of everything. So that's actually the if you show your face, you have a relationship with these people, everything can be solved in the relationship with the buyer. They also know what is important for the buyer, so the KPIs, and you need to gear your proposals towards helping them. So helping them achieve. You make your boss shine, you make your client shine, you make your client look good. That is actually good for you. So that's also the thing. That's the reason is if you don't help them, they should not. You should not hope to help for them to help you, of course. So it's reciprocal. Then, of course, they anticipate, so they look a bit forward. So forward thinking is something that I've seen some brilliant guys, some also people who are, let's say, still a lot to learn, or maybe it's simply not in them. But if you look at out of stock or what happens with cannibalization as a result of a promotion, or you know maybe less prominence on digital shelving. Basically, if you look at digital shelf loss, it's more like are they suddenly not putting me on the front page anymore, or as a featured product or something like that. All these things actually can happen, and it's actually not your own plan. You have to imagine you make your own plan, but then there are 5 or 6 competitors at least that are also making plans, and they also do things that could nullify what you're doing. So you need to constantly be on top of this and constantly see if you can get the edge in that sense. So every single time you are dropped for someone else, meaning you need to talk double as hard to get back on the initiative. Um, then, of course, they need to. That's a beautiful way of saying it. The master category language, not just the brand selling. So, meaning you don't just go after your own interests with regards to the brand. You actually look at what is actually the category about, and you're talking about the way the buyer is looking at the category. So what actually is in the grand scheme, how can you improve the category for them? And then of course usually the solution can be in your own brand, obviously. But if you're just advertising your own brand, you're just there to push your own products, that is not a valuable partnership. You're looking at, okay, what's your problem, how can I help you? And in the end your brand will get its turn. Then, of course, you can't do it alone. So this is the way of old-fashioned key account managers are usually like lone cowboys or lone wolf, lone fighters in essence, who are very much isolated. So, okay, this is my category, my customer. Don't touch. They don't want to bring marketing people. They don't want to bring even trade marketing people unless there is execution to be done. You need to really loop in everybody. If you have a marketing person sitting next to you during a trading terms negotiation or a talk with a buyer, that would be awesome. With regards to these people can really brainstorm and have the creativity to, okay, what can we do? What worked elsewhere? What have we got in the pipeline? Okay, how do you actually see this developing in your store? So all these ideas can be very threatening. So if you look at mostly The problem I've seen with key account managers, especially the older ones, is that they've been doing this for quite a long time. So it's more like, okay, this is my little piece of the company. This is like my little piece of the work I'm doing. I don't really want to get others involved, because otherwise they actually, steal my secrets or get my secrets, or maybe, can do what I do, and therefore I will be replaced. Again, these older people normally are a bit more threatened, because if they're closer to retiring age, then maybe the boss will get the idea of actually retiring them. So yeah, this is something that very personal. You have older key account managers also who are very much on top of everything and follow the latest trends and the latest technology. So don't let age be that defining factor. But in essence, you need to basically not be scared to actually bring in people for things that you don't know. So that meaning supply chain experts have their own view on things, unless you have all the data, of course, which I'm sure you don't. You can go without these guys, but you really need to have these people on board, because there's so much you can do with these cross-functional teams. If you look at supply chain, okay, how can we optimize this? How can we make sure you have these products available on the shelf? Now, trade marketing, what kind of ideas do we have? Digital, how can we work with you on the digital promotion? So imagine there's a lot of retailers out there who would really love to work with you on their Instagram, on their TikTok, on whatever medium they actually use, social medium they use currently to be active on. So imagine your brand on their social media, and vice versa. 50 minutes of fame for everybody. So these are things that are currently on the table. You're leaving money on the table, I think, if you don't do this. So this is probably the most important takeaway, for the entire video, if I may say. Look at cross-functional teams. That is actually really the difference between good and great. Now, then you integrate all of this with your clients. So in essence, you are seen as part of the team. This is not like, oh my God, I've got a guy from company XYZ this afternoon sitting here and pushing their product again. No, you really are welcomed as, hey, this is my partner from this company who maybe what has he got from me today? What kind of insights? What kind of ideas? And yes, he's also here to sell a few products, of course. So that sense, it's something that you need to have that position with people. It's difficult to get that with everybody. There are buyers who are, you need a long time to warm up, or buyers who simply don't like you, or you don't like them, or there are people you click with instantly. Then it's very easy to do it from day one. So very personal sort of thing. A good key account manager is, like I said, at least 50-60% is the relationship management. So if you're not good with people, you have no business being a key account manager. That's what I'm trying to say. You have no business with sales, actually, also. Um, Not that you can't do it, but it will cost you so much energy. It will cost you so much. You have to really push yourself every day to the limit, which is actually something that causes a lot of stress and yeah, depletes energy. So you will be burned out at some point by pushing yourself to do unnatural things, unless you really feel like you need to learn this, obviously. But I would say it's not for everybody, and it's not a shame that's enough for them. There are also supply chain people, also trade marketing people. There are many other people, finance people that need to. You don't need to talk to that many people if you do that. So this is really the relationship part, where you also can listen to someone for an hour and not about anything, or talk about their boat, or talk about whatever the chit chat you come up with, which not necessarily might interest you. I personally always see it. I'm interested in the person I'm sitting across from. So anything he or she says is interesting to me, because I want to learn and know about this person. So this is the mindset you need to keep in mind as a key account manager. If that is something that really costs you a lot of energy, like I said, just look for another job. Um, and if you really are genuine, so it's not a game, it's not for me, it's definitely a genuine thing. I'm genuinely interested in people. Therefore, they don't see it as fake. Therefore, it's also effective to build this relationship, build this rapport. So there are people that, notoriously have been, oh, this guy, I can't deal with him, I can't deal with her. They are very difficult people. I rarely had any issue with people like that in my life. So this is not to tout my own horn by saying like, oh, how brilliant I am or something like that. But it's something that you need to adjust, you need to adapt, you need to be a little bit of a chameleon with regards to if you have someone who is really very talkative, yeah, don't talk. You just listen. So that is actually the thing. As soon as you get people talking about themselves, then that's golden. Everybody loves them. We need to talk about themselves, his favorite topic. So that's the thing. I'm yeah. You want to get another takeaway from me? That's probably one. As soon as you get someone talking about them and not about work, you're golden. You've got them basically. So that is, I think, the core of this. And yeah, like I said, provide real value. Don't exploit people. Be very honest and fair, and provide value as much as you take. Basically, yeah? Give and take. This is actually really something that I would say. Be genuine, and you will really come to see these people as your friends. They're work friends. They are people who you are on friendly terms with. With friends, also you need to negotiate. So it can't always be, oh, because you're my friend, I'm not allowed to, you know, uh, be tough on you. No, of course you can be tough on them because you don't work for them. You work for the company. You pay your salary. Therefore, you really need to be tough when tough needs to be, yeah, on the table, so to speak. So this is basically as much as great camps do things differently yeah, from the regular ones. So final thoughts and also a summary, of course, is that if you are a great key account manager, as opposed to just a good one, it's about building relationship that is profitable, professional, and proactive. So you're talking about not only something that is profitable for you, but you're profitable for the retailer as well. So the online or offline retailer. You're not just a seller, you're also a business partner. So in essence, you basically look at all these retailers have someone they are at odds with. Anyone has a nemesis, an enemy, basically, or enemy. It's a big word, but a retailer they are having a friendly disagreement with, or a friendly rivalry. So if you look at the Netherlands, for example, it's Albert Heijn and Jumbo. Those are the two biggest ones. So they are head to head, and the blue one against the yellow one. And Indonesia has Alfamart versus Indomaret. So these are, or Lion Superindo versus Hypermart. So those two are also very much head to head in another format. So you're talking about, every country has that sort of animosity basically between retailers, and it doesn't have to be like hating each other or anything like that. It's just a matter of, these guys are competing with them directly. So therefore, you need to really be aware of these rivalries. And I mean, you basically need to provide them with the ammo and the value to beat their competitor. So in essence, you're looking at whatever you are selling. You need to really keep that in mind, that that's the agenda, and the chess game they're playing. So whether you're pitching to a mini mart buyer or optimizing a Shopee store, Shopee is the Indonesian or the Asian version of, let's say, Amazon. Basically the key account managers should make the retailer look good. So that's how you win long term. So in essence, you are talking about, if you provide value, what actually retailers also want is sell as much as possible for your product, of your product. So it's not just, I need money, I need you to pay a listing fee, I need you to pay bonuses and all those things. No, they also want to just sell as much as your product, because they are under pressure also to grow, same as you. So this is the way to win the long-term battle, so to speak. So there's a lot of gains to be made. I would say key account management still in its infancy in Indonesia. Indonesia definitely has some very good ones, but yeah, there's still a lot of ground to be gained, basically, with regards to key account management. Uh, Usually, the relationship part is taken care of quite adequately. So you have some brilliant people with very good insights and programs. It's just that the integration also of key account management inside like having the links to marketing, having the links to supply chain, that oversight is actually not there, because it's still seen as a separate department, where you need to have the support from the organization inside to really shine and also get this modern trade basically going in the right direction for your brand. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. This is another video in the A to Z and FMCG series, where we basically covered everything in the previous videos, from traditional trade, salesman to traditional trade. We had the retail buyers, and now this was the key account managers. I didn't go into every single detail because I've done videos before on key account management. If you're interested, please have a look in the archives on this channel. Please follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. We're very active on all these channels. And of course, if you like to have a interaction with me, you can always send me an email on alex@thefreesalesconsultancy.com. And as a call to action at the end, I would like to say, like, look, anyone who has something to share, your greatest accomplishment as a key account manager, because I'm sure some of you guys are key account managers who watch this, please feel free to share it in the comments. I would love to hear from you. I'm currently writing my second book. Basically, I'm done with my second book, like 99%, but there's always room for a few additions. But I'd really love to hear from you guys, and have some contributions from people with case studies. We say, what is your greatest accomplishment as a key account manager, and see, like, okay, how did you do it? What are the problems? What are the obstacles, basically? So if you have time, let me know. No obligation, of course, but I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you in the next video.